Hello there, my name is Niamh. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Hello if you're new here. Today I'm gonna be telling you a story. So if you watched my recent vlog, the one I just posted, or if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I had my appendix out. Woo! I'm basically gonna just tell you that whole story. It's kind of a long one. It starts back when I was like 16, 17. So yeah, buckle up. It's not that dramatic, but it's just a story. As I say, it started when I was 16, 17. I'm now 24, so it's been a journey, and I just want to share it with you. So here we go, story time. We start when I was like 16, 17. I honestly can't fully remember what age it was, but it was definitely around 16, 17. One night, got this really bad pain in my lower right hand side, which is where your appendix is. And I was just in so much pain. It was so sore. I remember like my parents were asleep and I just like texted my mom and I was like, I'm not okay, like please come in. So they like came in and like put like heat and stuff on it to try like ease it, and they were just like asking me all these questions, and like I wasn't feeling like sick or anything. It was just like this sore pain. So then, I don't know, the next day maybe, we went to the doctor and she said it was that I either pulled my diaphragm muscle or pulled a muscle in my diaphragm. I can't fully remember, but anyway, basically said it was muscular, and I was kind of like, okay. And she said exercise was the best thing for it, and I was like, I'm really sore though, like I can't really move, like how is exercise? She's like, no, she's like, exercise will help it, and I was like, I'm like in agony, I can't really exercise. Anyway, that was fine. Happened every now and again, every couple of months or so, I would get that pain, like, oh yeah, my diaphragm muscle is just pulling itself, or a muscle is just pulling itself there. That's what I was telling people. And then when I was 18, it was just before my leaving started. Like, what, your leaving started in like June? I think this happened in like April or May. When I was 18, so 2015, yeah, it obviously got bad enough for me to go to the doctor. So I went to like our same doctors, but just saw a different doctor. I don't really go to one doctor, I just go to whoever's there. So we saw this different doctor, and she was concerned that it was my appendix. Anyway, she sent me to A&E in the Mercy Hospital in Cork City. So that was grand, went in there, got all the tests done and all that. I probably should have put this at the start of the video. Like I'm gonna be talking about like my bodily functions, all this kind of stuff. If this stuff doesn't, like if you don't want to hear about this stuff, don't continue listening, because I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm probably gonna go to TMI, but that's what I do. So just, I don't know if any of that will kind of gross you out. Don't keep watching, it's okay. But anyway, so doctor came to see me after all the tests were done, and he was like, everything is clear, but bloods are fine. The only explanation could be is that you're constipated. And I mean, you know your own body, and I was fully aware that I was not constipated, and I said it, and he was like, well, there's no other explanation, you have to be constipated. And I was like, but I'm not constipated. And they were just like, that's the only explanation. I mean, I will never ever forget going home, going to the bathroom, and having a perfectly fine bowel movement. And I remember just being like, I told you I was not constipated. So that honestly just really discouraged me from ever going about the pain again, because like, I mean, it didn't seem to be my diaphragm muscle that time, or whatever muscle it was. He was telling me it was constipation when I full on knew it wasn't. And I was just like, okay, no one seems to be like really taking this seriously, so whatever. And it kind of kept happening. It kind of always happened like on average every 6 months this pain would come up. Sometimes it'd be less, sometimes it'd be longer than 6 months, but on average every 6 months I would get this pain. Then I can actually remember like the month, it was December 2018. I was going to the doctor about 2 other things, but kind of this pain happened to also come up around the same time. I went to the doctor, again, same practice, saw a different doctor again who I'd been kind of seeing a bit more frequently. And she was like, oh, maybe this pain is your ovaries. She asked me like, had I ever tracked it against my cycle, and I hadn't. She was kind of saying that it might be when I'm ovulating, that I remember she explained it, and like I really didn't understand what she was saying, but something was happening within my ovary when I was ovulating that was causing this pain. And I was like, okay, this sounds more like it. So her, what's the word? Her solution? Yeah, her solution. Is that what I'm trying to say? Honestly, since having the surgery, I'm like not with it. Dave's like, it's because of the anesthetic, it's still in your body, it stays in your body for like 6 months. So I'm just like a bit like loopy or something, I don't know. Anyway, her solution was to put me on the pill. That way, when you're on the pill, you don't ovulate, therefore I should not get this pain that apparently is happening when I'm ovulating. Seems fantastic, woohoo, gonna go on the pill, this is gonna solve my pain issue. It didn't solve it. It was coming back again, as I said, like every 6 months. It was just annoying, it was just so annoying. I remember one time then when the pain happened again while I was on the pill, like the pain was always bearable, like I could go on with day-to-day life. It wasn't like it was like keeping me in bed or anything, like I was just in pain walking around the place, but like it was bearable. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I think the next time I got this pain, I'm pretty sure I was working because I was like, I'm not gonna bother taking a day off to go to the doctor when like the pain is fine. So I just went like on my next day off kind of thing, but the pain had really eased by then. And I remember going back to her and the doctor, and she was like, oh, she's like, we really need you to come in like when the pain is happening, that's when we can best like see what it is and stuff. And I was like, okay. So I didn't go back again because it's discouraging going and you're never really getting an answer. The last time before everything that just happened a couple of weeks ago, the last time I remember getting the pain was November of last year, November 2020. And again, like I was sore, the pain, it like really hurt to get like up and down and things, like up and in and out of bed, up and off a chair, like that was when it really hurt. If I was ever bending over, that was when it was really sore. But again, I was just so discouraged. I was like, no one seems to have a friggin' answer. So like, what's the point in wasting €60 to go to the GP just to be told like, yeah, we're not sure, you know? That has been happening on and off since I was 16. Then a couple of weeks ago, over 2 weeks ago now, it was Tuesday at around 5 o'clock-ish in the evening, my like whole stomach was sore and I thought I was developing a dairy intolerance, if I'm being honest, because when I like looked back on what I had throughout that day, I had so much dairy, like way more than normal, and I was like, ooh, I was like, maybe this is like a dairy intolerance or something, because I was just feeling a bit sick, a bit nauseous. I was having bowel issues, so there were just a couple, I was like, this could like be a dairy intolerance or something. So that was fine. And then around 10 o'clock that night, me and Dave were in our living room. I was sitting on the beanbag and I like moved and I was like, oh crap. I was like, it's the pain. The pain, that's what I call it. I always say, I'm like, oh, I just have the pain that I get. Yeah, I knew from whatever I moved, I was like, oh, it's like the pain is back. And the more I started thinking about it, I was like, okay, I was like, the pain is back, but I was like, this is kind of the first time I have a couple of other symptoms with it. And so I was like, I'm just gonna like check like what are kind of, you know, signs of it being your appendix. And the first thing I read was like, oh, the pain starts like in your middle or your like whole stomach and then moves to the right hand side, lower. And I was like, oh, I was like, that's kind of what happened to me. Yeah, something was just telling me something was going on this time. So I rang South Doc, and when I got on to the doctor, he said he was wanting to send me into CUH because he was worried it was either an ovarian cyst or my appendix. So went into CUH, got my bloods taken. That was a whole other thing. I like nearly fainted. I don't do well getting my bloods taken. I've realized after that last hospital trip I need to be like lying down because otherwise I just do not do well. So that was just a whole thing, and I was fasting just in case it was my appendix and they'd take me to surgery, so I wasn't allowed to eat or drink, and I was like, I'm going to pass out. It was horrendous. And obviously you're not allowed any visitors or anything because of COVID, so it's really, really hard being in there by yourself. Like, I feel for anyone having a baby during this because, oh my god, I was struggling so much, so I can't imagine trying to have a baby on your own. Poor things. Anyway, so here we go. The day of all the doctors. So first doctor that spoke to me said my white blood cells. I can't remember were they high or low, but whatever it was indicating that my appendix was inflamed. So I was like, right. And he was like, don't worry. He's like, they won't do the surgery anytime soon. You'll be sent away and you'll be called back for the surgery. And I was like, right. But then I get so out of breath all the time. They still wanted to do an ultrasound because they had to just check my uterus, ovaries. Yeah, they had to do an ultrasound basically to rule out a cyst. You have to have your bladder really, really full to get an ultrasound, and I didn't have it full the first time, and the lady doing it was just a bit kind of like rude and blunt about it all, and I was like, And then I went down, and like there was just this big ordeal of like trying to get fluids into me and stuff, and I just started bawling, crying, and I was like, one nurse was like, oh my god, I'm after setting you off. I was like, you are after setting me off, but it's also not really your fault. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So went back up then for a second time. My bladder was full. Thankfully, if it wasn't, I was like, I'm actually just gonna discharge myself. Like I was done if my bladder wasn't full the second time. After the successful ultrasound, was sent back down to A&E, and then a few hours later there was a bed available for me, so they brought me up to a bed. And like in my head when I was getting a bed, all rhyming, that didn't mean I was staying overnight or anything. For some reason I was just like, oh, like I'll be going home in a while. When I went up to my room a little while later, they came to tell me that my ultrasound was clear, which was great, like fantastic. It was just nice to know that everything is all good down there. But because I was still in pain, they were just wanting to keep me in overnight to see how I was in the morning. So then the morning, Thursday, 6th of May. This was like the most overwhelming moment of my life. Woke up that morning. I was prodded so much because obviously like they had to press on me to see how bad the pain was and stuff. So that morning, a surgeon did all his things. I was still in a little bit of pain. Wasn't as bad, but it was still pretty sore. He wasn't really sure what to do, so he was going to get on to his boss to consult me. So I was like, right. Then this nurse and junior doctor came in and they were like, oh, have you been told you're going for surgery? And I was like, no, I haven't. And they were like, oh, you haven't? I was like, no. And they're like, okay, 2 seconds. They went away. A different nurse came in and was like, oh, I have your gown and socks for surgery. Will I help you get ready? And I was like, am I going for surgery? And she was like, were you not told you went for surgery? I was like, no. And she's like, okay. She's like, I'll just leave them on the chair. And I was like, what? Then another either doctor or surgeon, I can't fully remember, but another lady came in anyway, prodding me all around. It was like moving my hip and stuff and doing all these things. And she was like, right. She was like, it's not your appendix. She was like, couldn't be your appendix because all of what I was doing to you. She's like, you should have been in so much more pain if that was your appendix, but you're obviously still in a little bit of pain. She's like, but it doesn't indicate that it's your appendix, so we got to do more tests and see what the problem is. So I was like, right. So that was fun. So then, like in my head, I'm like, okay, not my appendix, not going for surgery, it's something else, this is frustrating, blah blah blah. In walks Mr. Surgeon with a nurse, and he was like, okay, so I'm gonna take out your appendix. And I was like, so at this point I just bawled crying because I was like, what the f is going on? Like, I'm being told different things every few minutes. I was like, what? So, but everyone was so lovely, and like when I started crying, the nurse, she was so lovely. She just like grabbed my hand and she was like, hey, she's like, you're gonna be okay, you're gonna be okay. But basically they still weren't actually sure whether it was my appendix. You can't tell from an ultrasound. You kind of can from your bloods, but it's not too clear. And he wouldn't give me a CT because I am under the age of 30, and they don't like giving CTs to women under 30 because of the radiation, as it can cause like harm to any future pregnancies or something like that. Basically he was like, I'm gonna have to open you up to see if it's your appendix, and because they were going to do the surgery regardless of what my appendix looked like, it was going to be taken out. I was so overwhelmed. He was like, okay. He's like, grand, but like he was so lovely about it all. He's like, I practiced on a 14-year-old this morning, you're fine. I was like, okay. But yeah, so that all happened. Then different nurse came in. She's like, right, I'll get you ready for your gown and everything. And as all this was happening, I was like, can I just like text people to let them know that I'm going for surgery? Because all of this happened in the space of like 10 minutes. From the first 2 people that came in being like, are you going for surgery? To being told I'm going for surgery, like literally happened in the space of 10 minutes. It was so overwhelming. So I was bawling, crying. I've never broken a bone. I've never had drama with my health, bar like I had issues for like a year, but it was like costochondritis. Not that big of a deal, it was fine. This was way more dramatic. So I was like bawling, crying all the way down when I was being taken to surgery. I was just crying, but everyone was so lovely, and I kept just being like, I haven't even broken a bone and I have to go under anesthetic, blah blah blah. Everyone was so lovely though. So yeah, then put me on anesthetic. It was so strange. Like I remember your one was like, when they put the thing over your mouth, and she was like, oh, you should be feeling sleepy like any minute now, or any few seconds now even. And I was like, I remember like staring up the lights, and I was like, I do not feel sleepy. Like I'm so awake. This isn't gonna work on me. And like 10 seconds later being like, and I think I said it, I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I do feel sleepy now. And then you're gone. I woke up in the theater. Obviously they were finished and everything, but I just woke up and you're just so like, you feel a little bit drunk. For me anyway, that's how I felt, and just like so out of it. And I was just like, did it go okay? They were like, yup. And I was like, I don't have an appendix. They were like, you don't have an appendix. I was like, oh my god. So yeah, thankfully I seemed to be fine under anesthetic. Didn't have any kind of reaction to it, thank god, and I hope I never have to go under it again. All went well. It was just keyhole surgery, which was good. They like, that's the standard way they now take out appendixes, but you have to consent. Like they might need to actually open you up, like I don't know. I just like, basically if they can't get to it easy, they have to like fully open you up and stuff. I don't know. Thankfully I only need a keyhole. That was good. I was back up in my room, and when I was kind of a bit more awake and stuff, the surgeon came and he said that my appendix was inflamed. So we made the right call, which is really good to hear. And he also said that my appendix and my bowel were like attaching themselves together, and there was stool blockage. So that could have been what was causing the pain. It was good to know that there was issues with my appendix, so we were right to take it out. Yeah, now I am over 2 weeks post-surgery. I'm doing well. I recovered pretty well. I have 3 incisions. They all seem to be doing fine. So yeah, that was basically the story. It was just a whirlwind of a few days, and I don't think I've processed it, because not long after I was home, just something more traumatic happened, and it was just like, my life was just crazy, and it was like as if you, like, you know the phrase like you couldn't make it up? That was just how my life was in the few days after. It was just, everything was insane. So I have yet to really process what's happening. Sometimes I feel really sad and stuff, and I think that's me trying to process like what the hell happened. That is my story. Yeah, it's interesting, you know, because when I was 18 I was told it might be my appendix. Didn't get it taken out till I was 24. I'm just like, I wonder, had they taken it out then, you know, might it have been something? Have my appendix and my bowel been attached for years? Like, is that what is causing me the pain? I don't know. So as the surgeon said, he was like, hopefully, you know, this is it. This is what that pain was all those years. And like he said, because I was on the pill, he was like, you're not ovulating. He's like, it cannot be an ovulation issue because you're on the pill. You don't ovulate when you're on the pill. So like, it's not an ovulation problem. Hopefully it was my appendix that was causing me the pain all these years. I swear to God, if I ever get the pain again, I don't know what I'll do, but hopefully that's the pain sorted. It was just a crazy, overwhelming experience, and it has thrown me, like, my life. I'm just like questioning everything, because, you know, I was working towards a certain thing and now I'm like, what am I actually doing? And it's just, life is just crazy. It was so unexpected. I'm really bored because I can't do much. But I'm starting to sit up a lot more, which is good. But I'm just constantly tired, always out of breath no matter what I do, getting lightheaded all the time. I've probably had too much Lucozade, but that's okay, we won't talk about it. So yeah, that is that. Basically, I mean, if you're gonna take anything away from this story, if you know something's wrong with your body, don't stop till you get the answer, and you will know yourself. You'll just know yourself, like, I knew something was wrong for so long and I didn't really try too hard to get it figured out. Hopefully we're all sorted, and that is that. My pain is gone. It's never coming back ever again. We're manifesting it, okay? We're manifesting it. It's never coming back ever again because it was my appendix and I don't have an appendix, so I can't get the pain again. I think I'm gonna leave it there. If you have any questions, like, let me know. I could always do like a whole video if you want to ask questions and stuff on it. I don't know. I think I'm gonna vlog like kind of a day in the life in recovery. We shall see, and talk about how I'm really doing, because the recovery has been absolutely nothing like I expected. And not in a good way. I'm doing well. I'm very lucky, I'm very privileged that everything went okay, that I would have accessible healthcare. I'm just privileged to have, I know our healthcare system here in Ireland like probably isn't the best, but it's better than some countries. At America. I've been talking for a very long time. If you listened, thank you. I hope you found this story interesting. I think it's interesting. I don't know about you. But thank you for listening, and to anyone who's messaged me, thank you so much. Like, I remember I put up on my story like that I was after having it out, and I got so many replies to it, and I was like, oh my god, it was overwhelming. Overwhelming. That's just how I've been feeling literally since I went into CUH that night. I've just felt overwhelmed every single day, but I'm doing well. I'm gonna be fine. I'll be back to normal hopefully in the next week or two. That's what I'm telling myself. Ooh, something's gone red. The time's gone red. I think I'm running out of time. Okay, thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, do make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you would like to watch more chaos that happens in my life, because no doubt there's more to come. I attract chaos, I attract stress. I don't know why, but there's never a dull moment with me. There is never a dull moment with me, so make sure you subscribe for more chaotic vibes. Again, thank you for watching, and I shall see you when I next see you.